So exactly what commitment level do you think it takes for a guy to sit in front of a camera in pajamas to do something? Does that show more commitment or less commitment? On one level, it's more commitment because, for a man to be seen in pajamas in front of a camera. But then on the other hand, it's just being lazy because you don't want to put on any extra clothes. But more legitimately, I do have PJs on. I'm ready to chill in bed, that kind of thing. But I figured I really do owe this to you guys. Maybe. This channel is just weird right now. It's in a weird situation where I have ideas for where I want to take it. I don't have time to do that. So, yeah. Once the school year wraps up at the end of May, I should hopefully be able to work on a lot more of this channel, kind of take it some new places. What really shocks me is the channel should be dead and it should be losing subscribers, but we've had like 25 new subscribers in the past 28 days, which is honestly just kind of shocking to me. I don't really know how that even works because I don't think there's anything. I was just going to look. Nothing necessarily blowing up on the channel lately. So I'm not really sure what's up, Just kind of, yeah, there's not much going on. So yeah, when one of my videos that I have posted there is from freaking January, and that's like the third newest video, that's when you know this channel is dead. But I don't want it to be. I guess dead is not the proper term. Yeah, the last few videos uploaded have all been live streams, so they're not really videos. But yeah, it's a weird situation. Hmm. So yeah. Yeah. Everything else is slightly down. Hello, Y3 Flame X. I'm always bad at pronouncing people's names. Yeah, I don't want the channel to be dead by any means. It's just that haven't really had time to work at the level that I want to, which is why there haven't really been much of any uploads lately. But as soon as the school year wraps up, I want to start working on it again. I guess I shouldn't use the word dead. Dead implies I'm quitting. I'm not quitting. I just haven't had the time to take this to the level I want to at the moment. But yeah, watch time and views are not down as much as I thought. Less than 20% on both of those, and subscriber gain is up. I don't really know what's up with that either. Yeah, it's weird. But yeah, it's bad when you look at videos, and the last 3 videos on the channel are all live streams, and then one of them is just something from January, which is a really nice video. I'm proud of the one from January, but the fact that it's still viewable without scrolling on the watch page is kind of bad for me. But yeah, this is like going to be the shortest variety live of all time because I'm literally in PJs ready to just chill out for the night. I just thought I kind of owed this, I mean, we got new subscribers somehow, so we might as well have something out for you guys, if it even matters. It may not. YouTube works in mysterious ways, I'm telling you. It's like when I'm doing nothing, channel will blow up, and then when I'm doing stuff, lose peeps. It should work the opposite way, shouldn't it? But who knows? Yeah, some of my older thumbnails are really bad too. I'm just kind of scrolling through some of this old garbage. You gotta be doing something right. Yeah, I guess I kind of am. I guess blowing up is it's not really the right term because how many subscribers we got? 215, 225? I don't know. It matters to at least one person. Okay, well that's good to know. It's good to know. I guess you're talking about yourself there. That's what I would assume. This is awkward. I'm looking down at my computer instead of up at the camera. But not that that matters all that much because I'm in pajamas and this lighting is nice and bad. I don't know why. You know, I really shouldn't bash my own channel as much as I do, but I'll admit some of the stuff I do is garbage. But sometimes it's the best I can do, so whatever. This makes me want to go back and watch some of my older videos just for fun, you know? You know? The lighting is perfect. That's interesting. I didn't think that. I think it looks a little dark. There's a little bit of a weird fuzz effect that appears to be going on because of the lighting, but I'm not quite sure. Not quite sure. 100 out of 10? I think that's exaggerating, but all right. Well, if you have any questions for me, whether that be about the channel or just anything that's been going on lately in the news, I haven't really been keeping up with Nintendo stuff quite lately. But if you got questions, I'm happy to answer them. That's kind of what these Sunday live streams I want to do is kind of like, I imagine it being kind of a live interactive conversation, some extra time for me to interact with you guys that I wouldn't get otherwise. But a lot of times no one showed up, which is understandable. It's a Sunday night. But what do you think about Cemu emulation? Is it ethical? I think that's really up to individual people. I've never really been a fan of emulation just because I feel like it kind of infringes on intellectual property. Some of that is a little bit shady, all the intellectual property right laws, copyright, that kind of stuff. Some of it's a little shady. I mean, Nintendo's definitely against it. They shut down a lot of ROM download sites and stuff like that. But I mean, if someone uses an emulator, I don't think they're a horrible person. It's just not really my thing. I think it's better to actually own the game and play it the way it's intended to be played instead of, you know, kind of, I guess, stealing the game, although you can't really go to jail for that. And I mean, even just doesn't make sense to play the game on a device it wasn't meant to be played, if you know what I mean. I know I've seen online people like bumping up Mario Kart 8 to 4K on their emulators or whatever, which, I mean, that's neat. And I can see you couldn't do that with the console, but I mean, it's Nintendo's game, not your game. If they don't want to offer it in 4K, they have a right not to. You know what I mean? So that's kind of my deal there. I don't hate people that use emulators. They're just not really my thing. I don't exactly agree with that. Anyways. But yeah, if you do use emulators, I would recommend you watch out because some of those rules, the copyright rules and intellectual property rules, they're a little shady. You might end up doing something illegal that could get you in trouble. I believe emulation is important for preservation, but if the person doesn't own it in real life, they shouldn't pirate it. So we're on the same page with the pirating, but I don't know. If it's emulation, if we're talking like just the NES thing built in the Switch for Switch Online, I mean, that's perfectly fine in my opinion because that's actually Nintendo reoffering their own property. But if you're emulating NES games on like a computer, I kind of feel like that's wrong because you're using Nintendo's own property somewhere they don't want you to use it. And I mean, I've understood the argument that like some people, there's some games that you just can't get, older games you just can't get a hold of in real life, and you may want to emulate them. I still don't agree with that, but I understand where some people are coming from with that type of thing or argument. But no offense, but I don't think it makes sense when you say that emulation is important for preservation because If you own it in real life, then obviously you can get your hands on it, if you know what I mean. I don't know. It kind of seems like you're okay. You're gonna explain further here. I would love to hear what you mean. Yeah, all consoles will stop working, as will the game cards as well. But like if your NES stops working, then it's not like you can't play any those NES games ever again, if you know what I mean. If they stop working, they'll never be able to play them again. Those specific cartridges, yes. You could go on eBay and find a used NES cheap, or you could get those games another way Nintendo offers them, maybe like Virtual Console or the NES on the online service and the Switch. I'm not saying that like what you're saying doesn't make sense. I just don't necessarily agree, but it's all just kind of opinion based, and I don't hate people just because they don't agree with me. People that live like that are kind of stupid. I know plenty of people that are like, I don't agree with you, so you're stupid. I don't know. You respect my opinion? Well, thank you. I respect yours as well. If only everybody in the world could just respect each other's opinions, then we'd be in a much better place than we are right now. I feel like we live in a very intolerant society. All right. What else can I talk about? Yeah. I might cut this off soon just because I don't really have a reason to continue too much longer unless you have some more questions. But what am I saying? I don't know. I'm just awkwardly sitting in front of a camera at this point, aren't I? But yeah. Once the end of May, about what are you planning for the future of the channel? That's kind of tough. I want to make some more videos that are higher quality. If you look at a lot of my older videos, they're very like last minute slapped together, and it's kind of generic content you can find on a lot of other channels. I want to try and make my videos a little bit more on the what the heck just happened to my camera. I want to make the some of my videos a little bit more on the unique side. Um, I still keep doing kind of the kinds of videos I've done in the past, but some more like stuff to actually draw people in instead of the same stuff you can find on every other channel. And then also a lot of the editing in my older videos was quite terrible. So I want to spend a lot more time, put more effort into the videos, the actual editing, and just make it a nicer final product. And I also want to incorporate a bit more variety. I mean, the name of the channel is Variety Entertainment, obviously. The whole reason that name came about is because I wanted something to incorporate. I wanted to be able to incorporate all of my randomly different interests into one little channel here. And it seems like I've mostly been building up the channel on Nintendo stuff, which is all right. The problem is when I throw something else in, like coasters or just general technology stuff like that, it doesn't go over super well, or because most of the audience that this channel caters to is then the Nintendo stuff. So I want to do a little bit more variety over time, if you know what I mean. I'm definitely not dumping the Nintendo stuff because that's what's built a lot of my small but still mighty audience thus far. And so I wouldn't want to dump them. And I'll keep doing Nintendo in the future because it'll help keep building the channel in the future. But I want to do some other stuff too. So I don't really have super duper specific plans of what I'm planning for the future, but I'm hoping that it's bright. I'm hoping to, grow the channel, that kind of thing. But yeah, I really want to monetize at some point. Don't have enough subscribers yet. What program do you use to edit? Well, if you can't tell by looking at a lot of the other videos on my channel, I'm pretty cheap. It's not like this is my job or anything. The channel is not monetized, so I don't really get any money out of this. So in turn, I don't put much money into it. So that's just to preface this. I literally edit all of my videos in iMovie. To be fair, it's the desktop version of iMovie in macOS. The iOS version of iMovie on the iPhone and iPad is I use that at first for a couple videos. It's kind of garbage. I mean, it's nice for just editing clips together, but it doesn't give you options. Believe it or not, iMovie on the Mac actually has some nice options. You can do color correction and fading and specifically designate titles and things like that. Like, I think it's got a lot more tools than people give it credit for. I do want to switch over to Final Cut Pro at some point, but that's just stupid expensive. It's $300 for Final Cut Pro, and while I do think my videos could benefit a lot from the extra tools in a professional video editing software like Final Cut, I'm not really ready to drop that much money yet. I mean, that's literally a Nintendo Switch or Final Cut Pro. So yeah, that's that. Although right now, obviously, this isn't being edited with anything. This is just straight from youtube.com live stream. Although for live streamings, I want to start using OBS in the future, but I have a very weak computer here. That's the main thing I'm saving money for is a more powerful computer, MacBook Pro for kind of a variety of things, but the largest reason would be so I can edit video a lot easier. This lags a lot and takes forever to render and stuff. And so I can live stream better quality, higher quality. I know it's kind of kind of hypocritical that I was just talking about not wanting to drop $300 on Final Cut Pro, but I will be at some point dropping possibly $3,000 on a laptop. But I mean, it's all how people see value for money, and I feel like I could get more out of a laptop for $3,000 than I could for 300 video editing software. The more I talk about this, the more stupid I'm making myself sound. So I should probably just stop. But yeah. What do you think about the rumors of a Switch Mini? I think it's interesting. I don't really know specifically what rumors you're talking about. I know that a Switch Mini is rumored to come out in the future, but as I mentioned earlier, I haven't been following news very closely lately, so I don't really know what the specific rumors are for like the specs or anything like that. But I think it's an interesting concept, especially if it's cheaper, because I know a lot of kids, especially younger kids, it's not such a problem in my area. I live in a pretty, not to brag or anything, but I live in a pretty wealthy area of town, and pretty much everybody could afford to get a Switch if they wanted to. But I hear in other areas of town, $300 is just a little too much to drop on a system for an 8-year-old kid. But if the Switch Mini was a lot cheaper, parents would be more likely to drop money on it for especially younger kids, if you know what I mean. So that might be good. Also, the Switch is not exactly, I mean, you can throw it into a backpack. I wouldn't advise literally throwing it in a backpack. That's how I ended up breaking one of my joysticks. But you could just put the Switch in a backpack to take it somewhere, but it's not going to fit in your pocket. That's one thing I missed going from my 3DS to my Switch is a 3DS I could literally slide in my pocket like with my phones. Like my phone in one pocket, 3DS in the other, takes up the same pocket space as my phone. You pull it out and play it anywhere. That is something I miss with the Switch. You can't exactly just slide your Switch in your pocket. If you want to, and this did work, if you take the Joy-Cons off the Switch and you have like a bigger pair of pants with a decently sized pocket, you can barely fit the Switch in your pocket with no Joy-Cons. Then you can put the Joy-Cons in your other pocket, but I only did that once ever. It was extremely uncomfortable and really wasn't worth it just to, have the Switch with me. So I think a Switch Mini would be cool if it was small enough to slide in your pocket. So you say rumors are the Joy-Cons would be the Joy-Cons would be removable. Okay, you got I figured there's something like that. I just wasn't thinking very straight. And the specs would be lower and it'd be around 200. I think the specs being lower would be kind of weird just because the Switch is already struggles to run a lot of the games it runs as is. So would this Switch Mini like only run a certain subset of Switch games? I don't know. That'd be weird. I think like I said, a lot of companies are struggling to put their games on Switch as is. So I think if anything, the Switch needs a spec bump. Having a version with lower specs, I think, would be a little bit on the risky side. Like depending on how much lower the specs is, like I said, some Switch games might not be able to run on it. So I don't know. That's weird. You stick your Switch up your anal cat. That's not strange at all. So do you tell all your friends now you want to play Smash Bros? This has been up in my butt. You hand a controller. It's like, you want to play Smash Bros? Yeah, sure. Well, where'd you keep in this? Oh, in my butt. You know what? Actually, I don't want to play Smash Bros. We're good. But yeah, lower specs would concern me. The rest wouldn't be too bad. You think it's more like an i7 7700K to an i7 7700? So you think like just a tiny spec drop to maybe account for the fact it's a smaller screen? Because that's the other thing. If it's a Switch Mini, it's probably gonna have a lower resolution screen, and so it wouldn't have to push as many pixels. So it wouldn't really need as strong of a processor. Do you know if this thing would have a dock? Because that's another thing that could really like knock the price down, is if it didn't have a dock, if it was a portable only system, then that would be nice, just to really knock the price down, make it a lot more affordable to some people that can't get their hands on a Switch now, if it's smaller and no dock. I figure it would be no dock, because of the non-removable Joy-Cons. I'm more excited about the Switch Pro, or whatever they decide to call it. I haven't really been keeping up with those rumors either, but I would just love to have a Switch with a little bit higher specs. And I really want, the main thing I would want is a 1080p screen on the tablet. People say, I mean, the 720p screen currently on the Switch looks really nice. And people are all, but I hear people saying, I can't tell the difference between like this and my iPad. I can definitely tell a difference between the Switch and my iPad. So having at least a 1080p Switch on 1080p screen on the Switch would make a big difference for me. So that's the main feature I would want on like a Switch Pro. But I don't know if that's happening, and I don't know if I would drop the money on it if it was. I mean, I'd be excited to have a higher resolution screen, but I don't know if I would want to drop the money. I'm kind of sensitive about that kind of thing, but you're gonna have to go. All right, goodbye. And this stream ended up being longer than I thought. So thanks for stopping by and making it a nice and fun experience. And I guess I'll head out in just a moment and maybe do a few things with the channel in the immediate future, but definitely I'll hopefully be able to pick up in May once school's winding down, that kind of thing. So I will see you next time as well. So if you have any last questions or remarks before you peace out, because I'm probably going to peace out the same time you do, because it's 10:30 my time and I got to go to school tomorrow. School sucks. Here's a remark. All right, I'm ready. Remark time. Your mom. Thank you for that insightful remark. I will remember that as I go to bed tonight. Well, thank you very much to Y3 Flamex. Whatever. I always found retarded when I say people's names on here. And at some point, the counter said 2. So whoever that other guy was, thanks to you too, I suppose. And bye-bye.